Thank you. Senator Brown.
Thank you. In the last month or so, there's been some media around the Bridgewater Bridge in Tasmania, particularly around Infrastructure Australia's comments. What's the department's view of those comments?
Senator, the Tasmanian government had developed the business case for the Bridgewater Bridge. It went both to Infrastructure Australia and to ourselves. And it's fair to say that the concerns that were raised by Infrastructure Australia were some of the concerns that our teams had sort of identified ourselves. So it's important to note, though, that Infrastructure Australia weren't questioning the need for a project and for a solution to the transport network, but it was just the business case and the way it had described the benefits and the costs. So it remains a priority initiative on the Infrastructure Australia priority list. So we're working now with the Tasmanian government to look at some of those concerns from both the department and from Infrastructure Australia in moving to the next point with the development of the project. And in fact, that is predominantly, the next point is predominantly going to be around some more detailed geotechnical work. With the Tasmanian government issued a tender just in the last couple of days to get some detailed work done on the site, just to determine what really the options are for the new bridge.
So, in a nutshell, the department held the same sorts of concerns that IA mentioned in their report, and now the state government is doing some more work around geotechnical aspects. Are you assisting? Is the department assisting other than advice to the Tasmanian government?
We work closely with the Tasmanian government. We're not, we don't have officials embedded helping develop business cases, but certainly we are in constant consultation with them as they go through the process. The main concerns are around what other options there might have been to the one that was presented in the business case. Yeah.
So does the Tasmanian government need to, with the next iteration of their design or business, their design, does that have to go to IA?
Doesn't necessarily have to go back to Infrastructure Australia. Infrastructure Australia has viewed the business case, made its commentary and pointed out sort of the issues. It will be, as to the update to the business case is looking to address those issues, and so it wouldn't necessarily mean that it goes back to Infrastructure Australia.
IA can be bypassed, and IA doesn't need to tick off on a project, but the department does?
Infrastructure Australia has been provided with the business case and has undertaken an assessment and has provided advice.
I understand that, but I'm asking you now,
we've gone through that step.
When it comes forward again.
The department's always involved in the next step, which is the development of a delivery project proposal report. So this is a report
the project can't proceed though without tick off of the federal department.
We would need to approve it, and we would be looking to see that the issues raised by IA are addressed in the final proposal report.
The department can tick it off, and IA doesn't have to for it to proceed.
The policy is that all projects must be reviewed by IA. We've received that. We would then have to provide advice to government to tick it off to the final stage, and if we weren't satisfied that the IA concerns had been raised in the final report, we would provide that advice to government.
But it doesn't have to be ticked off by IA, does it?
The second time.
The policy is that it's reviewed by IA.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to be, does
No.
it? Okay. So when was...
The minister's got discretion, hasn't it? The minister has discretion over the project at the end.
Correct, Senator.
So you can disagree, IA can disagree, but the minister gets to say, go on ahead.
Correct, Senator.
Thanks.
Okay, so the acquisition of the land for Bridgewater Bridge, what year was that undertaken?
Certainly all the necessary land has been acquired, Senator. I'm not exactly sure I've got the dates for when that happened. I might need to take that on notice, but
What about the year?
if you best bear with me a moment, I'll see if I've got that information. But I do know that it has been acquired. There's no further land needs to be acquired.
Is it,
As I said, I might need to take that on notice, Senator.
We'll see if we can find out for
is
you,
it,
Senator.
for some reason, I think it was around, I could be wrong, 2012, 2013.
So it's not unusual when states and territories are looking at future priorities on the network that they get in early to once an alignment hits a map and properties come under, you know, if someone wants to sell their property, it impacts so often.
Bridgewater Bridge has had a number of issues, and we've just spoken about one regarding the Tasmanian government's proposal. But I'm actually, if you could get that date for me, that would be good. But I'm actually interested in an article on the 3rd of October, and I'm just trying to clarify what the Australian government's position is, because the article actually says two different things. So I'm just trying to clarify what Mr. Tudge, or what they say Mr. Tudge was statement was. So it says that.
Sorry, could we get that table, please? Thank you.
Sure, I'll just ask my question. So Mr. Tudge was on the front page of the Hobart Mercury, and it says on it that it commits both levels of government to the construction of a new Bridgewater Bridge from 2024, and the second time it's mentioned in the article, it says the state and federal governments say they will replace the Bridgewater Bridge by 2024. So would you be able to tell me
I think,
which one of those statements is correct?
look, we in the absence of that further work, we haven't got absolute dates, but the Tasmanian government's latest public advice has been a start to the construction around 2022 and completion around 2024. But that will need to be further narrowed down as we go through the next part of the
So it
planning
can't
and
be-
development work.
So there's no guarantee that it'll be by 2024.
The commitment in the city deal, which I think might be what you're referring to in the article, Senator, was that was the intention at the time, was to try and have this project done by 2024, but as Mr McClure said, those final dates are still firming up.
So when do you think you'll know if there'll be cars going over the bridge by 2024, which was the commitment not only by Minister Tudge but former Prime Minister Turnbull and Premier Hodgman? This has been going on for, the Bridgewater Bridge project has been going on for some time.
Yeah, look, the update to the business case and the work that's been done now will probably carry forward for the next 6 to 9 months. I'd say it's probably middle of 2020 before we'll have a really strong idea of what the final scope of the project will be and the timelines.
Right. So there cannot be any commitment really about dates until we get that timeline in the middle of next year.
Well, as I said, currently it's 22 start, 24 completion, but that's absolutely not guaranteed until that further work's been done.
Okay, thank you. If you could come back with that date. Thank you.
Senator, we're just conscious that we're about 4.5